Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this video, I'll be looking at a new history of the DC Universe issue 2. Okay, so this is the second issue of the new history of the DC Universe. Um, as before, there's a lot in this again, lots and lots of text, obviously, because it's basically a comic book documentary. But let's just find the kind of the interesting things that jump out at me, and kind of go from this. This is going to go from the arrival of Superman all the way through to Crisis. So, first things first. Superman was Superboy in Smallville. That's a change, I believe, because obviously New 52 Superman was New 52 Superman. What rebirth? I don't know. I don't know. But Superman was Superboy. Um, we've got challengers. We've got all the kind of the classic characters. Wonder Woman is now crafted out of clay, as she was originally. Um, we've got the classic Luthor costume. I believe that's original Mentallo and original Toyman for definite. We have Titans. They mention here, well, the original Titans, as it were. They mention here that Robin has a bulletproof yellow cape, which I think is quite a nice detail. Um, this is where it gets interesting. The origin of the Justice League is them fighting Darkseid from DC New 52, which includes an injured Cyborg. So Cyborg is now technically founding member of the Justice League, although it does say they don't call themselves the Justice League yet. Um, then we cut to this lot, which is another alien invasion, which is Martian Man and all this kind of stuff as well. This apparently is another version of Justice League. Hawkman and Hawkwoman are part of that. All goes to Hawk Girl, then Hawkwoman. Then they mention that the Justice Society turn up, and obviously this image is from when it used to be the Earth 2, Earth 1 crossovers, but now they're all part of the same Earth. Um, and they mentioned the crime champions and a few others as well. Then we get a Supergirl turning up, and then the Titans forming, the original Titans. Doom Patrol, Robot Man, Zatanna, Animal Man. Again, all, and these kind of fall into where they appeared in the actual comics. So we're talking like 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. We get the original Free Crime Syndicate. We get the original Question and Barbara Gordon Batgirl. Hero for Hire. Wonder Woman being depowered like she was in the 70s, which is now part of it. The mention of Darkseid returning and all the new gods showing up, which is obviously where they show up in the original continuity when they did the whole Jimmy Olsen, Jack Kirby stuff. But now they've encountered Darkseid before then in this reality, which is interesting. We go through Winter Gang. We go Ra's al Ghul's daughter and son of the demon. Swamp Thing, which I think was quite late, but it kind of does seem to fit. Um, Guy Gardner with his wrong haircut, I think there, and John Stewart. And apparently he was injured, so John Stewart took his place, and then he comes back as being the Green Lantern later on. I don't know if that's how it worked out originally. Nubia there. Um, Bronze Tiger and what's he called? Richard Dragon, which is apparently trained with Batman. That's fine. We got Black Lightning and Ragman again. Death of Arthur Curry's son. Um, Project Superman, as you mentioned, the Doomsday Clock is now responsible for Captain Atom, Firestorm, and all these other characters as well. We get to see Vixen, which I found a Vixen. The original Amethyst as well, as it was told in the original Amethyst story, not the new 52 version of Amethyst. And then we get the New Teen Titans, and the New Teen Titans, which again kind of let's get a lot of glare on this, but we see Cyborg again, which you can't see on this one. There you go, so Cyborg um, in his original version, and they basically say that Cyborg has been reanimated he was put into stasis after the Justice League thing with Doomsday, and he's been reanimated to become a member of the Titans. And it's like, but that's really weird because obviously there's no mention of Cyborg having any kind of superhero thing before the Titans in the original continuity, and that makes the new 52 version effectively only their origin story be relevant. Everything else seems to have been erased because obviously Cyborg was part of that team for ages. Weird. Um, Yep, changing the Titans, Nightwing, all this kind of stuff as well. Lobo and the Omega Men and forming of the Outsiders. Yeah, all this kind of schemes to fit into place. The interesting thing is we get this is another one weird one as well. Infinity Inc. are included in this timeline, which is odd because I'm not quite sure how that works with other characters because Hawkwoman being the weird one because presumably this is the JSA versions of Hawkman and Hawkwoman like it is in the original ones and not the Justice League versions because this apparently got Hawkman's son in it and grandson or godson or whatever. It's very, very confusing. But then you've got Crisis. And Barry Allen mentions he dies in Crisis. But the point in Crisis, obviously, was to reset the continuity. So why are we including Crisis in this new continuity when Crisis was responsible for it? So does Crisis now just, it does say about eradicating multiple universes and parallel worlds. Does Crisis in the, whatever we call this new continuity, just erase the multiverse and then it gets put back and it doesn't reset the origins? Because obviously we get new Superman origin, we get new Batman origin, all this kind of stuff by the time Crisis reboots in '85 and the death of Supergirl. Well, how can Crisis and Death of Supergirl count if this is the appearance of Supergirl is back then, and it's still the same Supergirl we've got now? So the next issue is going to be the interesting one because it's going to tell us what Crisis actually did. And obviously, you can't keep going for like Flashpoint and all this kind of stuff because they reset the continuity and all. So it's the idea of including the reboots in the current timeline is very, very odd. 0 hour, all that kind of stuff. So we shall see what happens with this one. But again, my favourite part is where they pick out all of the issues to actually tell you where all the stuff was referenced from. That's fantastic. Oh, Kathy Kane apparently was the original Batwoman. She's existed in this timeline. Very odd. Um, Anything else? Oh, Justice League, Detroit. So yeah, so all in all, interesting but puzzling is what I would say. Um, so yeah, again, good stuff. Even just as a historical record of DC Comics is very, very cool. As a timeline, yeah, it's okay, but I can see this causing issues in the future at some point. So anyway, right. Anyway, that's enough talking really about this one. Yeah, again, another decent issue. If you're interested in DC history at all, definitely worth picking up. So, and they'll probably do a trade of this. I mean, that'd be pretty decent. So, anyway, yeah. So, thanks for listening, and hopefully, I will see you on another video very, very soon. Thanks very much. Bye bye.